All right, it's Shawn again. So a little bit about what I wanted to talk about was you really need to do the NCA 300 pruning standards, okay? And then I'll take it a bit further. If you've ever heard of the ISA, the International Society of Arboriculture, they are who you can get certified with, and they supply, well, for a fee, you can get all the study guides and everything to go and take these tests, okay? They want your money, all right? There is no getting around it. They're a big organization, and I'm talking everything, like all their study guides you have to buy. And so like I purchased their membership, and that was $130 a year. And then, you know, with that and then the study guides and everything to kind of get started to learning in order for me to take the test, because I have not done so yet. It was $350, okay? Everyone, like, if y'all watch these, the forums, or I mean, I'm sorry, if you read the forums and stuff online, you know, they're always pushing like, hey, you need to become a certified arborist. It's just one of those things where since I happen to run the company and I've got two, it's just kind of hard, you know. I'm always dealing with stuff, I always have to change marketing. And I'm still a little guy in all of this, you know. I have to go out and do the work. You know, I am the bucket guy, I am the ground guy, I'm doing it all, even though I've got a couple of full-time employees. All right, so work towards that. You know, starting off, I don't believe that that is like you have to become certified right then. You know, obviously, you know, just kind of progress. And every time you can achieve something more, you will keep rising up, and you'll pertain to a different customer as you go. You know, you'll keep on attracting better clients as you go up. Now, if you're just showing up on the job site from day one, you know, in jeans and a t-shirt, then, you know, yes, you're going to be charging less, but you'll have resistance on occasion of some people will not want to hire you no matter what your price is, provided that because they don't think, whether you are or not, they may not think from your appearance that you are licensed, bonded, insured, anything. That's why I do recommend that you don't do anything risky, okay? If you're not going to be insured, if you're not going to have that general liability, so many guys don't. My dad used to not have that. The other guys up here at Atoka, like all those fly-by-nighters, they never have insurance, okay? That is not good. It protects the homeowner, and that's a huge selling point for you. You'll hear me talk, and there's a lot of things that I buy in order to advertise that I have that, okay? Because advertising is the key to making your business work. That's why I'm going to talk a lot about advertising, okay, in some of my future videos. So, so once you've gotten your knowledge, and at least, you know, you've read up, you've watched some YouTube videos on, you know, how to do, maybe you're learning about how to tie knots, or, you know, rigging techniques, or climbing. You know, everyone's going to be at a different level. That's no problem, guys. You know, everyone starts out somewhere. You know, I started out, you know, with my dad 10 years ago, or it's 11 years ago now, and you know, it was not legal. It was dangerous. We was on ladders. We did not have a clue what we were doing, okay? That's not a problem, but just, you know, understand the risk involved in what you're doing. Wear the correct safety gear at the very least, even if you're not insured and stuff, and you'll get there, okay? Now, every time you become more knowledgeable, you will get into higher pay. Every time you buy something that can produce value for the customer because you've learned it, or because you've just purchased, you know, a bond, an insurance policy, something that will benefit the customer, you know, you will have to raise your prices, along with it's okay to raise your prices. You know, you're adding value. You're becoming a better service in general for your customer. All right, and you know, I want y'all to understand that, and understand it's not the end of the world starting off, but that's just what you're going towards, okay? You will be able to afford things as you go. Like my very first pruning job and fence clearing job was $900, okay? Then it wasn't so bad, like actually starting out, like, okay, I want to take that back. It's hard, but the steps are simple, because you never look at it as a business, okay? Look at it as, hey, I'm just a guy in a pickup, and I've got some pruning saws, and I'm going to go make a little bit of money today. before my mortgage or before my rent comes due, okay? Don't try to sit here and drown yourself. You know, I've read somewhere that the reason diets fail is because they're trying to change the way they eat, they're trying to change their habits, they're trying to get up early and work out, they're trying to then go to the gym and just become exhausted by working out too much for the first day or first week. And they hate it because they're reading so much, they're eating different, they change their entire life, and it's just too complicated. So don't necessarily look at that. Now, if you're an extremely OCD person, if you know that this is what you're going to be doing, then run right into it, okay? But do it safely, okay? Minimize your financial risk when and at all times possible, okay? So I'm just wanting to kind of put that out there for you, because you know, it's just, you're just going to buy a bucket truck. If you just word it like that and say, hey, I'm just going to buy a crane. Now, I'm not going to tell you can't buy a crane, okay? I don't want you to tell yourself that you can't buy a crane. All right? I don't know who you are. I don't know how capable you are. You know, a lot of this stuff, like from the books that I read, or I actually listen to a lot of books on Audible, and you will come to find out that if you just think that it's possible, and then you come to the realization, hey, I can do this, you would be amazed at what you can accomplish, okay? I used to tell myself, you know, I don't know how I can own this company, and that's why I didn't, you know? I just thought, like, okay, this is just, I don't know how I can afford a backhoe and a trailer, and I don't know how I can afford a bucket truck, so I didn't. I told myself that I didn't know how it was possible, and I didn't look because I told myself that. So now I just say, you know, how can I afford the bucket truck? And okay, I need this much down, or I need to put this much up for collateral. Can I afford that per month? Well, if I put this marketing plan together, and if I don't purchase this yet, then I should be able to afford the bucket truck. And I should be able to do it safely because I can't afford the harness. At the time, I already bought a harness because I was going up in my dad's bucket. So I did already have a harness. So understand that a lot of this is just your mindset, okay, guys? If you're starting out and you're scared, I get that. You know, I was terrified. I drove to Clinton, Illinois to Smitty's Machinery to buy my bucket truck. And I mean, I was nauseous, okay? I mean, I was just worried the whole time. And this was, I don't know how many hours this was. I don't remember if it was 8 hours or 9 hours. It was a long ways. It seemed like it was about 800 miles, but I don't know. Maybe it was 700 or something. And I was terrified the whole trip there, okay? And, you know, when I got there, it was awesome. I did run into a guy that he owned a crane service, and, you know, I had found out that it got up into like the $2,000 mark per hour for him to do that. And that kind of changed the way I looked at it. You know, I've talked about like, hey, you know, you can get 300, 800 an hour. Well, then all of a sudden, you know, I talked to someone that had 4 cranes, and they had achieved 2,000 an hour multiple occasions. You know, like that's for that situation, which would be like, you know, you got a 2 or 3 story house or whatever, you got an expensive house at least, and then you got a big enough tree and it just falls on top of the house or into the house, and then you have to actually remove the tree safely and not damage the house further. You know, he was at like $16,000 for however many trees. He said he did at least 5 of them that he could think of offhand that was over $6,000 or $16,000. I'm sorry, $16,000. So at $2,000 an hour, he said, you know, you can do all of those trees in one 8-hour day because he's got a crew that's skilled. He's got the crane operators and the riggers, and then he's got the ground guys with the chainsaws that are skilled. He doesn't have to train them. They can just go out there. And because he was talking about, you know, if he has a crew of a few men go out and they take a crane, the big crane that he's got, you know, he expects them to come back with $4,000 worth of work at the end of the day. And so, like, with just his crane crew, which he had like 24 employees, so with just his crane crew, he was needing, you know, approximately $20,000 a week. And then if it was insurance work, then obviously it was quite a bit more than that, okay? Like, when I do insurance work, it might be $1,000. Like, you know, I've had one tree that was $4,300. I've done another tree where we had to crane it off the house. That was like $5,100. You'll be able to see pictures of this stuff throughout my channel, or go to the photo spot on my channel here on YouTube, and then you'll be able to kind of see what I'm talking about, some of these situations and everything. And because I do take pictures of this stuff, I haven't been taking video because I'm so small that I'm often just so worried about getting the job done that's just kind of where I'm at. And like, you got to realize that when I'm doing insurance work, I'm obviously like, well, now I'm used to it, but at the time I was just terrified. You know, I was always worried about, you know, oh my gosh, what if this happens? What if that happens? What about insurance? You know, I hope I'm covered for enough. And because I only started out on general liability with like 300,000, and then I worked up to $1 million. So I was always working my way up. You know, I don't know of anybody that can just go out there and say, I'm going to buy the best general liability, the best workers' comp, and just all of this, and I'm going to do everything legally. It's just because it's so expensive. It costs thousands of dollars a year to be properly insured and licensed or bonded or whatever you're going to be, okay? So I hope that this has helped, and I hope that this will help you progress a little bit. I will start getting a little bit more specific with some of my topics because I know that that's what you guys are looking for, and y'all are also probably looking for like the nuts and bolts of the business. So that's why I'll try to make shorter, more specific videos, okay? So thanks, guys. I hope you got something from this. I will be back with y'all shortly, okay?